Now let's get up to speed with Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds!
Until next time, you say Fudo. And you, I am in your debt. I hope to ride against you one day. Oh, with you. Huh?
Ah, the French.
I can hear you breathing, I can see you coming, I can feel the wind that's blowing me around.
Welcome back, Satellites, to the most significant part of this entire Yu-Gi-Oh! Retrospective, at least to me, as we finally reach the point where 4Kids will stop being the main dubbing company for Yu-Gi-Oh! I know some of you have already corrected me, and yes, I do know 4Kids started dubbing Zexel, the next series we'll be talking about, but eventually Konami takes over, and they didn't really stay on that long, honestly, so I consider this, the final season of 5Ds, to be their last real go at it. Let's just all remember, this is a video about children's card game anime, guys. There's no need to be so anal about this stuff. So if I can be frontal about it, saying this is the last full dub season is also kind of a stretch. As similar to GX, there is a final season that was never brought over to the West. More on that next time. Another thing is, this is the first time this has happened in a Yu-Gi-Oh! Series so far, but will not be the last, where this season, while yeah, it's dubbed, they didn't dub every single episode. Which is weird, because yeah, so far if you haven't noticed, besides that final season of GX, 4Kids has been pretty good about dubbing pretty much all of Yu-Gi-Oh! They never really skipped an episode, maybe a clip show here and there, but can you really call that missing out on anything? And they definitely skip some useless ones here once we get to them, because yes, I will be covering them. You'll even think to yourself, yeah, I can see why they didn't bring this over from the Nippons. But they also weirdly skip plot-relevant episodes that make the dub seem incomprehensible without them, and they also add unnecessary plot holes. Not to mention, they do cut out a duel here that, yeah, ultimately is inconsequential. It's not that important to the overall story, but when you see it, like me, you'll wish they didn't skip it, because it is legit one of the hypest duels I have ever seen, period. So with that, let's dig into the last of the dubbed, sort of, season of 5Ds. Well, I say that, but technically this is still Season 2. Yeah, we're still on Season 2. We're basically going to be on it until the dub finale. It's all been Season 2. We started off catching up with someone we haven't seen in a while, Cherie LeBlanc. Yeah, luckily Gallup decided to pursue the hot French girl storyline, which I'm glad about. I really didn't care about the Sly thing. Do you remember that one? I think that was the one about the raccoon. If you forgot, her parents were killed by Iliaster, with them leaving behind one card for her, and she's determined to find out the truth about this card and why her parents left it to her. So she decides to break into sector security by calling in a bomb threat to get access to the building, which Mina and Trudge don't need, as sector security is already spread thin, as the 3 Iliaster members aren't really directing the city like the directors they say they are, and since the factory thing, Lazar has been MIA. Probably part of why Yusei and Bruno are there to tell Trudge and Mina something, and get caught up in this bomb threat nonsense. But during the panic, Yusei sees Cherie and runs after her, but her butler Ellsworth holds them off, and while Bruno manages to slip through, Yusei has to duel Ellsworth in order for him to get by. So what's Cherie doing here? Well, she's using Sector Security's big supercomputer thingy to analyze the card she has so she can find out more information, as we now see it's called Z1. That's when Bruno arrives, and Cherie just immediately starts trying to kill him, doesn't even ask who he is. Yeah, if you haven't noticed, especially when it comes to finding her parents' killers, Cherie has no chill. It's kinda hot. But something weird happens. As Sherry's about to finish Bruno, he gains Ultra Instinct. His eyes glow red and turns the tables, but turns back to normal after seeing the Z1 card, and agrees to use his nerd skills to help Cherie. He says because of his amnesia, he can relate to wanting to know the truth. Yusei, meanwhile, beats Ellsworth and follows Bruno as him and Cherie finish analyzing the card, and the system has nothing on it. At all. It seems like the cards never existed. Huh. That's when a huge burst of energy emits from the machine as Yusei shows up. And then...
Where are we? And how did we get here? What is that?
The 3 are then transported outside the building, with Ellsworth taking an unconscious Cherie home, while all of them wonder what the hell even just happened. After that, it's a 2-parter about Crow. It's mainly just to give him something, if you haven't noticed, he doesn't have, which is a Signer Dragon, because, you know, he never was a Signer originally. There's this whole story of his old friends we've never heard of, Pearson and Bolton, who owns his own special dual runner energy manufacturing place. It's a whole thing about Pearson dying long ago, Bolton was involved, yada yada yada. None of this comes up again, and it's not that interesting. Point is, Crow beats Bolton in a duel, giving him the Blackwing Dragon card. His own, well, it's more of a chicken than a dragon, but he has it now. After that, Bolton got arrested, I think. He was involved with Pearson's murder, sort of. Sorry, right, the dub. He got sent to the netherworld. He wasn't murdered. Death does not exist in children's card games. That's why we have a graveyard. Now the company Bolton used to own, I guess, now sponsors and makes stuff for Yusei Jack and Crow's team for the WRPG. I said RPG. I'm surprised I went this long without saying that. The team consists of the boys being the duelists, Bruno the mechanic, Leo and Luna are the pit crew, I guess, and Akiza is like a substitute. Really, the twins and Akiza have no reason to be here. They've been woman in Yu-Gi-Oh! Not because they're brainwashed, that hasn't happened in a long time. If you remember, there are other stipulations for being a woman in a children's card game anime. Having nothing to do after your arc is over and being relegated to Yamcha of standing on the sidelines and commentating on other people's duels. So what is the name of this team consisting of these duelists, a mechanic, children, and the hottest woman of all time?
5Ds? Is that like the team name? I think 5D sounds kinda cool, but what does it mean?
5Ds is about one thing. This right here.
So you're named after our marks?
That's right. Starting right here and right now, we're Team 5Ds.
Yep, Team 5Ds. See, I told you it'd make sense a few videos ago. And yes, the D stands for the mark of the Crimson Dragon, also dicks. And you might be starting to pick up a theme, you know, because we had the GX tournament, now we have Team 5Ds, and yeah, I will spoil it now. They do in fact work the subtitle of every series into the show. It's not inconsequential either, it's typically something pretty important. You will hear it several times throughout it. I want you to guess what you think Arc 5 refers to. You'll never guess. Anyway, the tournament format, I really don't want to explain. It's really dumb. So for now, just know it's 32 teams entering, and 5D's first team they have to face is Team Unicorn, the best turbo dueling team in the west of the world. They're really good. I'd be worried for the D's if they didn't have a guy on the team who has literally never lost a duel. But the team practices anyway on an open course where Crow pulls out too fast, crashing into another runner. Crow, I keep telling you, you always pull out, but you gotta have technique over speed. It just so happens he ran into Brio, a member of the Unicorns, and leader John, I don't care to look it up, says they were sabotaging them. So to make up for it, they have the third member, Andre, challenge Yusei to a friendly duel. But it's a setup, as Team Unicorn planned for Crow to hit them, allowing them to initiate this duel to get an idea of Yusei's tactics. It seems Yusei is about to win this mock duel, but time runs up for the course, so they leave it for the actual match. Later, Akiza is helping Yusei practice his running skills, when Sherry approaches Yusei as they finally talk about that weird shit they saw the other day. But not much else, and she leaves. Cool, I guess. Crow is also out practicing, until a weird hook hand comes out of nowhere, causing him to crash, and he fractures his arm, making him unable to duel, which devastates him. He's not just doing this tournament for Yusei and Jack, but to help inspire all the kids he takes care of back in Satellite. Man, I forgot about them. So to help out, Akiza decides she will sub in for Crow, but Crow denies her help as he's pissed he can't be the one to duel. But after taking time to think about it, Crow realizes this isn't the time for scrub mentality. This isn't just about him, it's about the team. So Yusei, Jack, and Bruno wake up and find Crow giving Akiza training, approving of her subbing in for him. Wow, nice moment, honestly. Not just for Crow, but even Akiza actually taking an initiative herself, offering to help out. Actual subtle character growth in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's rare, but you'll love to see it. And so the WRPGQ F9er begins, with the first round as Team 5 Donuts duels Team Unicorn. Okay, I'll explain the format now. It's really stupid, get ready. You might be wondering, how does a team tournament work in a turbo duel? Not very well. So how it works is the first two duelists who start this duel, it's Jack and Andre. And when a duelist loses, example, Jack loses to Andre, the duelist who won automatically goes to their end phase, and keeps all the stuff on their field, their life point total and all the speed counters that they have, as the next duelist of the losing team, being Akiza, goes out, and keeps any cards that were on the field before their teammate lost, but no graveyards are shared. That's not even all the rules. There are some I have to bring up later, some that really don't matter, but yeah, it's convoluted, honestly. But this does mark another important moment in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime series. This right here. No non-Akiza in her biker outfit, despite how distracting it is. I mean the actual duel. Now, many of you may be frustrated that I don't cover a lot of the duels in these shows, and Akiza's turn in this duel is a good example of why I don't, because we've reached the point where turns are like modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Taking way too long with the turn player announcing everything they are doing to summon a bunch of shit.
From my hand, I summon Witch of the Black Forest! Because now that she's summoned, I can draw another card from my deck. And it looks like the card I drew is Rose Fairy. And since this card was added to my hand by way of a monster's special ability, I can now summon it. Next, I activate the speed spell, Angel Baton. I can now draw 2 cards from my deck, as long as I then discard 1. And the card that I'm banishing to my graveyard is Glow Up Bulb. Now, level 4 Witch of the Black Forest, tune with level 3 Rose Fairy. I synchro summon the Black Rose Dragon! But I'm not done yet. Next, I activate my trap card, Star Siphon! Thanks to this card, when a synchro monster is summoned to the field, I get to summon a Star Siphon token. Next, by sending the top card on my deck to the graveyard, I'm allowed to grow back this old friend, Glow Up Bulb! Go, level 1 Glow Up Bulb! Tune with level 7 Star Siphon token!
Now luckily this is an escalation thing, as each series starts off pretty slow, but by the hundreds, which we're getting up to now, yeah, this is what every show is going to be like. Anyway, my wife does okay, and despite even my future parents-in-law showing up to cheer her on, she's also unable to beat Andre, losing, but manages to leave Stardust Dragon on the field for Yusei, because as a sign of confidence, he gave it to her before the duel. So now Yusei has to beat all 3 members of the best team in the country or whatever by himself. I'd be worried if he wasn't Yusei Never Lose Fudo. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is good setup, as you do want to see how Yusei will come back from this. But come on, you can tell by these guys' character designs they're not that important. Their hair's not even that stupid. But the duel is kinda cool, actually, as since he's the last duelist, Unicorn's strategy is to mill out Yusei, and when the last member, leader Jean, comes out, Yusei has to beat him with 5 cards in his deck and 1,000 life points. But weirdly, after getting Unicorn's backstory during all this, it's not that great. And Yusei giving speeches about giving it your all during a duel and dueling with honor and all that. Jeans could have won, but doesn't mill Yusei to death because it's not dueling honorably or some bullshit? Because he went on a technicality? Every Demir Magic player is screaming at this guy. What the fuck do you mean technicality? A win's a win, dumbass. And he learns, yeah, never leave a Yu-Gi-Oh! Protagonist one last card, as Yusei, using the help of Fusion, of all things, wasn't expecting that, wins the duel, and 5Ds moves on. So the crew have a victory party. It's only round 1, guys, relax. When Sherry shows up again, revealing her team is only made up of her and Ellsworth, and that she beat her first opponents all by herself. See, look at that, Yusei, not so special after all, are ya? It's here where she does discuss out in the open with Yusei and everybody there about all the stuff so far, her special card, Iliaster, the tournament, and everyone comes to the conclusion, yeah, this is all connected. Even the new directors must be involved, still no one has seen them, and they're probably Iliaster. Hearing all this, Bruno even gets a strange feeling, thinking he's connected to all this in some way too, but of course doesn't remember. The next day, now having formed a friendship with Team Unicorn, because of course they did, the D-Boys go to see their next duel. Yeah, it's not an elimination thing in the prelim, again, not explaining all the details of this tournament, but it's pretty stupid. But when the boys arrive, they see that some of the unicorns have lost their horns, crashing during the duel. A duel against Team Catastrophe. Wow, they're not even trying to hide that they cheat. What's more, Team Obvious Evil has won all their duels so far, after their opponents mysteriously crash. After some tech mumbo-jumbo, Bruno figures out that all the people who crashed during the Team Catastrophe duels did so because of their rear... Fuck, this is gonna be hard for me to say. Did so because of their rear wheel becoming jammed. Why is it so hard for me to pronounce some of these things? Which Crow points out is what happened to him when he crashed. Then reviewing footage Carly took of Unicorn's duel, yeah, she's still around, she's a part of the harem, remember? The D's notice that the same monster is on the field every time a crash happens. Hook the Hidden Knight. And with what happened with Crow, they know they're even going after people outside the duel arena. So everyone should be careful and stay together, right Akiza? Oh shit, Akiza's not here, she's out practicing. And these bastards go after my wife. Crow, who cares? But you don't mess with that body. I mean, no, wait, I can't backpedal that, can I? Yeah, her duel runner locks up, but in time she summons a monster with her powers to catch her. But...
Why didn't its power activate!
Yeah, for some reason, Akiza's powers don't activate, causing her to crash, sending her to the hospital injured. Knowing this was catastrophe, the D-Boys are determined to end them for harming the reason this isn't a sausage fest. And even though he hasn't fully recovered, Crow will duel because he's extra pissed knowing the hard work Akiza has put in to fill in for him. The actual duel is not that great, and the reason these guys have a monster that causes crashes is because it was given to them by Primo. That's Sonic if you forgot. He gave it to them so, I don't know, cause havoc. And Catastrophe doesn't even duel 5Ds in full. As the second guy up, oh, Crow won by the way, he was the first up, he won. The second though uses a card that inflicts real damage, not realizing it's mutual, and takes himself out, destroying his runner, making it so Team 5Ds wins by default because he can't continue. Kind of a letdown of a duel considering all these guys did. And Primo has no more use for them as he's about to enact his own plan. Because remember, he had a bunch of dueling robots amped up after stealing Yusei's plans. Well, it's time, as he unleashes them upon New Domino City. Reason being, once again, to complete this grand design the Iliasters keep talking about, which will be completed by activating circuits, which assumingly get activated by dueling from what we've seen. They never really explain how exactly that happens. I assume it's like dual energy, remember from GX, that was the whole thing. So the robots are out dueling anyone, anywhere, and since Sector Security can't handle it all, Team 5Ds and Sherry join in a thing called a Duel Battle Royale. I think this is the first time this is mentioned, but it comes back. It's basically a multiplayer duel. Anyone can attack anyone or do whatever they want to their boards. It's fine here. Gets kinda crazy later. Unfortunately, Sherry and Ellsworth are taken out, and it looks like Yusei is about to bite it against so many opponents. Bruno tries to catch up and help too.
There is something you can do. Remember your directive. You have one purpose.
My directive is clear. I exist for only one reason. I must keep Yusei safe.
Until he hears a voice and goes off to the beach he was found at and summons a special runner, becoming Visor. Yep, Bruno is Visor. And he doesn't say why, but he does say that his reason for being here is to keep Yusei safe. Oh, he's plot armor in the form of a character. And he shows up to save Yusei. Primo's not happy about this and decides to join the fray himself, as Visor tells Yusei to believe in his heart or something to access Excel Synchro. Which he does, going super sonic, and ending up at his own stone tablet like the Iliasters had? Huh? Which grants him a new power even though he can't use it quite yet. Jacob and Lester, seeing this, tell Primo to pull out, but Primo says he ain't a bitch and duels Yusei. And Primo seems like he might beat Yusei with his newly named Mech Lord cards instead of whatever they were called last time, I forget. And his... What the hell? He fused with his dual runner? Is that supposed to be cool? It's not. It's not. But thanks to bonds and stuff, Yusei is finally able to Excel Synchro, creating another dragon to collect them all.
Behold, the Shooting Star Dragon! And with its arrival comes the arrival of light and hope!
Oh, also at this time, Akiza has woken up at the hospital and discovered her psychic powers seem to be gone now, for real for real. The explanation given is that because she's no longer angry and mean like she was at Arcadia, they're basically just gone now because she's happy, so they don't work anymore. Okay. Luckily, Yusei has friendship powers, which help him beat Primo, stopping all the chaos going on in New Domino. That's when Jacob and Lester show up to retrieve Primo's corpse, and formally introduce themselves as the Emperors of Iliaster. That they are here to repair the future?
Introductions are in order. We three are the Emperors of Iliaster.
The Emperors of Iliaster? So they're royal pains.
Objective is to repair the future, you say.
Repair?
Well, whatever that means, to accomplish this, they have infiltrated various powerful organizations and come to clash with many powerful people and those who oppose them, including Sherry's parents as she shows up to confront them. But Jacob admits he doesn't remember everyone they've had to silence, so he doesn't know if they've actually killed Sherry's parents. So she attacks them with no luck, and they reveal that in order to repair the future, they need to destroy New Domino City, as it's the catalyst that causes a ripple in time, so massive that it destroys the future. Obviously the D's say they won't let them get away with this, but then Jacob's tablet arrives, and now all three of the Emperors are at full power. and they tell the D's they will meet in the World Racing Grand Prix as they leave. Visor's about to take off too when Yusei asks him did he know all this and that he'd excel synchro, with Visor saying he didn't specifically know he'd have the dragon and plenty of other things he doesn't know, but he does mention there may be a power even greater than Iliaster pulling the strings of fate. After this, everyone regroups, realizing continuing to compete in the GP is a trap, but with no other options they have to continue to stop Iliaster. That's all cool and fun. More importantly, get ready all you people who keep complaining that I'm watching the dub, because yep, we've arrived at the cut episodes from the dub, as they decided to skip 12 episodes in a row here. A few of them make sense why, but more of them than you think are actually very relevant and reveal a lot of important details that matter for not only when the dub comes back, but for the rest of the series. And like I said in the beginning, they cut the hypest duel ever animated. First, of course, we now have a new theme to talk about, Believe in Nexus, the OP for this season in Japan. Not playing any of it because Japanese openings get claimed super fast. You should look it up though, it's good, I like it. But I don't know, it doesn't feel like it fits the futuristic world of 5Ds to me. It sounds more like the kind of theme you'd hear for a more traditional Monster of the Week type of show. Or I don't know, maybe I'm just biased towards the dub opening. Anyway, the first 3 of these cut episodes, I agree, aren't super important. It's about Jack and the return of Greiger, who gets Yusei and Jack to come to his home, as he had dreams of Jack being consumed by his dragon due to his lust for power, and wanting to always be the best. This results in Jack dueling the Crimson Devil, an earthbound immortal, one so powerful not even a Dark Signer could control it, and it thinks Jack is strong enough and wants to use him to be released from its seal. This whole adventure results in Jack gaining his own power called Burning Soul, combining his dragon with the immortal, allowing him to use 2 tuner monsters to summon his own new super special awesome dragon, the Red Nova Dragon. And yeah, that's the last we see of Greiger and his siblings, at least he's doing well. His brother's weird though. So yeah, I get why they skipped this, it's 3 episodes just to show Jack got a cool new dragon, but I don't know, kind of important for his development, I guess. I don't know, let me know what you think. The next few episodes, I can totally see why they cut them, because they are very comedic to a point it feels like a different show, as the D-boys are out shopping for cup noodles, because it's a running joke in the OG, it's not really done in the dub, that Jack loves cup noodles. And someone else does too, Lazar, who they run into and realize he must know something about Iliaster being under the Rector, and he must be hiding from them because he does know something important and they probably don't want him to tell anyone. So to catch him, they, I want you to be aware that this really happens in episode, 114 of Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D. This is an actual thing that happens. I'm not making this up. This isn't a joke. This isn't something I thought of. This really happens in this anime. So Team 5Ds put on a stage play based on spicy cup noodles, featuring a prize of cup noodles to capture him. See what I mean? This feels like an episode of GX all of a sudden. They fail, but manage to chase Lazar to some tunnel, and Crow duels him. If he wins, Lazar will tell him everything he knows about Iliaster. That's when Lazar's family shows up. Yeah, remember them? We saw a picture of them. Turns out Lazar has been hiding out and stealing noodles to protect and feed his family, as his son thinks the world of him. Crow, seeing this, decides to lose on purpose for Lazar, but he realizes Crow is throwing, so he loses on purpose, saying that he did it because Iliaster would be after his family and helping the D's is probably the best way to save them. Wow, Lazar is a good father and husband? Wasn't on my bingo card. So the D's interrogate Lazar, with Sherry also there, playing bad cop. Good news, Lazar does know things about Iliaster. Bad news is most of it is stuff everyone already knows. Seems like this was a waste of time. Until Lazar tells them before the directors arrived, he did receive a phone call from an outside company, and they were the ones to inform him of the 3 new directors being appointed. And he doesn't remember who called, but all the call records are in the Sector Security database, which they access, again this really happens, by solving a duel puzzle in a dueling arcade game in some random arcade. Sure. The rest of this is not that interesting, so I'm going to talk about something I haven't brought up in a while, the animation. I didn't talk about it at all in GX, I realized, because I was kind of distracted by all the dumb stuff and later nihilism going on. There's a lot with that series, okay? The first half of 5Ds was good, so it didn't really matter. But I want to be clear when I say this, as I think it's a pretty important thing to get across. The animation in Yu-Gi-Oh! Sucks. Every series. It starts off pretty good, and there's definitely some decent animated sequences here and there, but I don't know why, for some reason, every single series, the animation quality just goes down with every episode. Especially when it comes to character models, as we see in this episode with Akiza's exaggerated proportions. I assume it's due to the fact each Yu-Gi-Oh! Series for some reason is weekly and consists of over 100 episodes with increasingly complicated monster designs, which is why they've probably started switching to using CG models from time to time. But yeah, the animation quality in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is pretty shit. It's the worst part of each series and will get worse as time goes on in each series. It's amazing how consistent they are with it. Just compare any of the first episodes to an episode after 100 and see the stark difference in quality. I won't be bringing it up anymore unless they royally fuck it up or do some random sakuga. Just assume the animation from here on out is passable. I can tell what things are at least, so. Anyway, they solve the puzzle and find the caller was from Momentum Express Development Organization. So Yusei, Sherry, and Bruno go undercover into the building to find out this company's connection to Iliaster. And unlike the last few episodes where I get they cut them, I am shocked they cut these next two because they are very important. As the three run into the company's director, Clark, who shows them the Infinity, a machine that transports matter. Yes, an actual matter transporter. It uses planetary particles to displace matter, creating interdimensional holes in space and time. Hey, Duel Academy has a version of that. When left alone, the three break into Clark's office to get a keycard to access the rest of the building. Sherry and Bruno escape with it while Yusei distracts Clark with a concentration duel. Not explaining it, it never comes up again. Yusei beats him, but Clark reveals he knows who all three of them are and why they're here, as he activates something near Sherry and Bruno, as Yusei rushes to them, and they all get trapped in the shuttle, a shuttle about to be sent through the Infinity Machine. Then Clark appears on a screen, and he reveals that Infinity is actually being used by Iliaster to time travel. Yep, for reals. And Sherry's dad worked on Infinity and didn't like the fact people were going to use it to mess with the past and tried to destroy it. And Clark reveals he was the one who ordered the hit on Sherry's parents. Juan LeBlanc's still alive though, so he's going to finish the job as he activates Infinity, sending the three into oblivion. The shuttle starts going crazy in the wormhole when a slot appears, a card-shaped slot, and Sherry's Z1 card works as it apparently is used to control this shuttle. Until suddenly the windows in the shuttle break and Sherry is forced out into the wormhole, lost between space and time. While this is happening, Iliaster are not pleased Clark got rid of Yusei, as they say he's very important to their plan. So for doing this, they decide to get rid of Clark by erasing him from existence by going back in time. This causes a ripple effect, changing the present, which for some reason now the signers feel and are guarded from, like visually, as well as three men we've never seen before in a plane, who also realize that time has been altered, commentating they've experienced this before, showing a magazine that used to have them, but now had the three emperors on the cover. That's when the signers are led to a certain spot in Domino by their marks, where the shuttle containing Yusei and Bruno pops out. But before they can explain, all the signers look up as some strange structure seems to be coming from the sky. What's more, only the signers can see it, as Leo and Lazar are confused on why they are all looking up. And when they all head to Momentum Express to confront Clark, they find the entire building is gone and the company seems to have never existed. Back at the garage, Yusei and Bruno inform Ellsworth about Sherry falling into a wormhole, but before they can comfort him, they are called to see something on TV. It's the Emperors, who seem to have done a lot of messing with time, as they have made themselves Team New World, the best turbo dueling team in the universe. What's more, when they check the tournament bracket, the entire lineup has changed. As Ellsworth points out, his and Sherry's team are completely gone. And so they all finally realize what has been happening and why Iliaster has seemingly been able to change reality. They travel back in time to manipulate events, allowing them to control the president. Control the present. That's all cool and fun, but Jack asks the obvious question. If they're so powerful and can travel through time, how come they haven't used it to take out certain things in their way? Like erasing them from existence. Luna thinks it's because of their signer marks protecting them, but Yusei thinks it's because they might have other plans for them. Either way, with this change, there's now no current director of the city, as Trudge and Mina show up asking the D's that due to all the weird shit happening around the tournament, it might be cancelled, since all the time shenanigans have made it so Iliaster aren't the directors anymore, so the seat's empty, no one's running the city. Lazar, who's hiding, pops out, saying he will take over, despite the danger. As for his family, he will help the D's face Iliaster by continuing the tournament. With that, Ellsworth leaves, knowing Sherry is still out there, and goes searching for her. Thankfully, Sherry is fine, sort of, as she wakes up in a white void, the same one she went to with Yusei and Bruno a while ago. And she sees her dad? No, it's not. It's some other entity taking the form of her father, who offers her the truth. See what I mean? These episodes are super important. Find out so much about how Iliaster has managed to carry out their plans, what happened to Sherry as she just straight up disappears from the dub, she's never mentioned again, and also why Lazar is just back randomly when you watch the dub. I'm surprised they skipped this. I will say time travel, while not outside the realm of possibility for Yu-Gi-Oh!, makes this all needlessly complicated. I mean, I'm following it fine, but Jack asked the one question that breaks this whole thing. If Iliaster can time travel, how are they losing? Oh, but don't you worry, the time travel shenanigans get even stupider. But back to the WRGP, an exhibition duel is being held, where Team Ragnarok, one of the best teams in the world, will duel any opponent, and one of them, Dragon, chooses Jack, who is attending with Akiza and Crow. In the duel, Jack summons his Red Dragon Archfiend, of course, and Dragon summons one of his ace monsters, Thor, Lord of Aesir. Yeah, they have god cards, technically. And the summoning of this god and dragon caused such a burst of power, Lazar calls off the exhibition. Yeah, cool, whatever. It's all set up for stuff that happens later. Again, this picks up in the dub. I don't know why they don't show this part. But we're about to begin one of the hypest duels in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, this duel does not matter for the plot or progress any of the characters or story in any way, which is why 4Kids skipped it. But it is one of the best underdog stories I've ever seen. And it begins with Leo running into three schmucks called Team Taio. They are three friends who have a lame as shit duel runner that they built together, but got broken during the whole ghost thing. The team consists of Taro Yamashita, Yoshizo Hayashi, and Jinbei Tanigawa. Leo, wanting to help them, offers Yusei's assistance to fix their runner. So he gets Yusei and Bruno, but Jinbei wants no help, only wanting to win with their own merits. But Taro says they're barely holding on by themselves and might have gotten this far with luck. They're gonna need help eventually, so he relents. When examining the runner, Bruno realizes, yeah, it's pretty shitty. Many of the parts are scrapped or garbage pieces no one would ever use. But Yusei, also being trailer trash, recognizes the soul in this runner. Yoshizo, wanting Yusei's autograph, being a fan, forgot his notebook, so instead had Yusei sign some cards in his deck. And the D's are surprised to see his deck is also garbage, being made up of weak-ass normal monsters you get from a pack of the first set. Jinbei takes the deck away, not wanting to reveal any strategy, as they might face each other. And days after Bruno and Yusei fix their runner, yep, Team Taio is 5D's first opponent in the finals bracket. And Team New World, the Iliaster's team, is on the complete opposite end, so they need to make it to grand finals to face them. But now it's Jack starting to face Yoshizo. Everyone is expecting an amazing back and forth duel, but no, Yoshizo only summons monsters in defense position, and uses cards like Hand-Holding Genie to bolster his defense, setting face downs and stuff. Meanwhile, Jack just keeps comboing off since Yoshizo doesn't use any hand traps, constantly summoning and synchro summoning, but can't crack this defense so easily. Then we see Team Taio's game plan. Using the effect of Speed World 2, they deal 800 damage times the amount of speed spells in their hand. Yep, the blueprint seems to be stall, build up a defense of monsters, and burn your opponent to death. Well, I think that's cool to see as someone who's been watching this anime. Burn's not a very common strategy here. The audience is not impressed. They came to see a duel, not watch Jack combo off by himself. So they boo and jeer Team Taio, calling them lamos and cowards, and actually start fighting like a duelist. The rest of 5Ds are also not impressed, though you couldn't tell considering how exaggerated the animation is in this episode. Seriously, why is it really dynamic now? Is it because I just called the animation shit? It still is. But Yusei is a bit more suspect. After all, Taio did make it to the finals, they've won duels, so there's gotta be more to it. But maybe not, as we get Taio's backstory, where they all come from some bumfuck middle of nowhere village. We see Taro convincing Yoshizo and Jinbei into competing in the WRGP with him, despite everyone, including their parents and friends, disapproving of their participation, because they've got nothing coming from this town, including cards, as they all have weak-ass, bitch-ass normal monsters that everyone threw away. But Yoshizo and Jinbei were convinced when Taro came up with a certain strategy, one that led them here, one they claim only they can do. But what it can't do is beat Jack, who takes out Yoshizo, so Jinbei's up next, and does the exact same strategy with no change, even using the same cards, which once again does not get any favor from the audience. He does manage to beat Jack by using Gift of the Mystical Elf, that's pretty hype, to survive Jack's card. That would have taken them both out. So Crow is up and easily beats Jinbei. While looking bad for Taio, the last one, Taro, the leader, is not phased at all. He's actually pretty ecstatic. He just simply sets some cards and ends his turn, the usual strategy they've been doing. But he thinks to himself that next turn he's going to summon their strongest card, the card only they can use. And finally, Yusei realizes what that card is. By thinking of all the bad cards out there, there must be one that benefits from this lame playstyle. And that's when he realizes, since the beginning, a monster has been on the field, and due to the rules of the WRGP, has stayed on the field for every duel. Key Mace, a level 1 normal monster. Yusei figured it out. Taio's real goal was not to burn their opponents to death, it's to use this card to summon a powerful monster. That monster is the legendary Zushin the Sleeping Giant, a card that can only be summoned by keeping a level 1 normal monster out on the field for 10 turns. A feat no one ever tried because it's seemingly impossible and just a huge waste of time. Even Crow is in disbelief when 5Ds warned him of this. and he tries to ruin their plan, but hearing that Taiyo went to summon Zushin, which is a common card that everyone owns but never use because the summoning condition is stupid, everyone starts cheering for them. Yep, they pull a 180 fast, as now they want Taiyo to succeed and summon a card that no one has ever summoned before. Pro tries to make sure that doesn't happen, but it's too late. They were too set up, using cards like Two-Pronged Attack and Dragon Capture Jar. Based. Taiyo manages to do it, summon the unsummonable card that rivals even that of an Egyptian god. And being a card that can't be destroyed by effects or battle, it's pretty hard to beat, so Crow loses, leaving Yusei the last one left to beat the seemingly unbeatable monster. And now everyone is on Taiyo's side, not just the arena, but even their family and friends back home have started cheering them on. Seeing that they weren't all talk, they are the first people to summon this dogshit card, and everyone loves it. Team 5Ds are no longer the favorites to win this duel. Everyone holding up their copies of Zushin cheering on Taiyo, who are all ecstatic that everyone is cheering them on. And now they really think they can do it, they can win this tournament, they can beat Team 5Ds. Of course not, because while the crowd think they are the protagonists, Yusei is the real one. And despite Taro using attack and receive, sorry, like I said, that was hype watching this, like, just seeing them use all these dogshit cards you get in old starter decks, it's so fun. Unfortunately, Yusei has good cards. And you know, Yusei, strategy, bonds, and all that, abuses the fact that Zushin negates monster effects, but only during battle, and while it can be targeted, uses a non-targeting destruction effect that triggers later to get rid of it, which silences everyone watching as Yusei managed to beat the unsummonable, unstoppable Zushin. But Taro won't give up because he has one more turn. But not at all, as Yusei beats him with his last face-down card. Team 5Ds wins, and Taro is devastated that he wasn't able to win with his friends. But they reassure him summoning Zushin was hype as fuck, and the crowd agrees as they all congratulate Team Taiyo and cheer for them. Even 5Ds admit while they won the duel, Team Taiyo won the hearts and favor of the audience, proving even the weakest cards can be powerful together, as round 1 of the finals ends. Holy shit, was that awesome! And you know I like this duel, because that was the most detailed play-by-play I've ever given. Because I was like the audience in the show when I watched this. I saw the burn thing and was like, yeah, cool, but it's boring to watch, it's burn. But then when I saw they wanted to summon this dog-ass card no one cares about that's got one of those dumb summoning conditions, I was so on board. Because come on, how many of us have seen these cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! With these super powerful effects but very specific summoning conditions, and you start brewing ways to cheat it out or summon it the normal way somehow while sticking to your strategy? I know you OGs out there like me, you know, Gate Guardian or something, right? You know, these cards with stupid summoning conditions, they just try to make viable. Hell, even the card game still tries to make viable with support sometimes. Or that stupid movie card, remember that? That's a piece of shit to try to summon. Personally, being a Hero fan, I remember trying to use Neo-Spacian fusions in general, but just couldn't because they're dog shit. So watching Team Taiyo live the dream of not just Yu-Gi-Oh players, but card game players in general, of summoning a card that has all this great text if you actually got it on the field, but has all these stupid conditions to actually get to put it on the field, how are you not on board with that? It's a treat to see. And I wish more duels were like this, had this heart and concept behind them other than playing very specific monsters that counter the main character's monsters so they can pull a new one out of their ass so they can sell it. Speaking of that, the next match is Team 5Ds versus Team Ragnarok, the people Jack met at that exhibition. Before that though, remember that weird thing in the sky? Yeah, it's getting bigger, but only signers can still see it. At least that's what we thought, as Yusei, Jack, and Crow meet Team Ragnarok, consisting of Haldor, the leader, Dragon, and Broder, who are also able to see this anomaly in the sky. And they have special marks of their own in their left eyes called Rune Eyes. Haldor explains, like the signers, they are also chosen by the gods, holding the 3 Aesir cards, based on the gods of Norse mythology, Thor, Loki, and Odin. Haldor explains all this to the Ds and that they are here to stop Fimbulwinter, the Norse version of the apocalypse is the simple way of explaining that. Find out more, play God of War Ragnarok. And they think that thing in the sky, along with Team New World, is what will cause Fimbulwinter. Because yes, Ragnarok know Iliaster is Team New World, and they've been messing with time, since their god cards, like the signers, are unaffected by all the wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey nonsense. Yusei suggests why not just work together, but Haldor refuses, saying the gods do not want his help because Yusei's dad caused Zero Reverse. While technically Roman caused it, which technically means Iliaster caused it because they manipulated him, but I guess Dr. Fudo did invent it, so it just means that they think destruction will follow Yusei wherever he goes, and declare they will beat Team 5Ds and save the world themselves. As the day of their duel begins, and man, after Taiyo, I was so uninterested in this duel. Cause yeah, it's interesting having the signers duel other chosen ones with their own powers and powerful ace monsters, but it's just a regular duel, man. There's no interesting strategies used. The only thing is the god cards get revived due to their effects, meaning they stay on the field between each duel. Whatever. Also, because this is the return of the dub, we're back. I guess I never noticed as a kid, a lot of stuff is unexplained, like why Lazar is back. Also, Jack summons Red Nova Dragon that he got when he went to Greiger's village, and when Crow asks where did Jack get that card,
You say, where'd Jack get that card?
Not sure.
You were there, you say, what do you mean you don't know? And again, Sherry is never mentioned as being missing or what happened to her, she's just out of the dub. Cool. Also, the thing in the sky, remember that was also introduced in a non-dubbed episode, it's just there now. As for this duel, they do try to make it personal for each D, as Dragon once dueled Jack in the pro leagues and Jack beat him. Dragon says that duel was rigged by Goodwin and Lazar, who told Dragon if he threw, they'd help his father's hospital bills. So he wants revenge, saying back then Jack dueled like a chump, so he could have easily won. I don't care about any of this forced self-doubt for Jack. He's proven several times he's a good duelist against real threats, not only in this tournament, also during the Dark Signer stuff. And when he dueled basically the Earthbound equivalent version of a devil to get this new dragon. So don't care, not invested. They also try to make Rotor mirror Crow by showing like Crow. He duels for the kids. Also don't care. I don't think I made it obvious. Crow is actually my least favorite character in 5Ds. He's never gotten me on his side. He duels for orphans, whatever. I would have forgotten about him if Black Wings weren't a viable deck back in the day. And then Haldor and Yusei, when they duel, they're the leaders, I guess. Yeah, I was not into this duel at all. It's a regular ass anime duel, man. I don't care. Like, just for the record, we're in the 130s now, and with these shows, because they focus on one summoning mechanic, it gets kind of lame after a while. It's just motherfuckers synchroing off into other synchros. You synchro into this synchro off that asshole to make a bigger asshole. I don't think I'd be this down on it if a Thai one didn't come before it, which I guess in the dub it didn't. This duel is also long, about 6 episodes, technically 7. And speaking as someone who can follow a game of Yu-Gi-Oh! IRL, this shit gets kind of confusing. And then the anime, of course, making Yusei look super fucked at the lowest point he could be, so he can use very specific cards to get him out of this very specific situation. The board stage just gets to a point where the last few episodes of Yusei facing the 3 guards, it's a bunch of explaining card effects, which while boring to watch means one special thing, duelist, that's right, we finally got to the point where the anime board is looking like modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Kill me. But yeah, Yusei wins, of course, and Ragnarok decide that the duel proved the Ds can save the world and leave the future in their hands, as the Ds have made it to the finals with only one enemy left to face, Team New World. The next episode is another skipped episode of the dub. It's a clip show of Akiza, the twins, and Mina helping Carly write an article on the WRGP. Hard pass. As we move on to the final duel of this season, and the final episode shown of the dub, as like with GX, we begin the series finale of the dub of 5Ds. Which means sadly it's the last time I get to hear the hype dub opening. It's not fair. The night before the duel, the signers and Bruno and Leo go to the stadium at night to look at that thing in the sky as it's getting clearer and closer each day. That's when New World show up on the monitor to explain their plan, that all this dueling is to activate circuits, and the grand design they've been talking about has all been done to summon that thing in the sky that they call the Divine Temple. And their mission is to destroy New Domino, and it will be accomplished when the Divine Temple is fully summoned, because it's not floating, it's falling, and will crash into New Domino, destroying everything. Obviously the signers say they will stop this as the day of the WRGP Grand Finals begins. And first up is Lester versus Jack. This will truly be one of the hardest fights they've ever faced. Or it should be, because Lester barely puts up a fight simply using trap cards and setting cards and doesn't even use his Mech Lord to its fullest, going out pretty fast. He does activate a card called Infinite Aura that gets a counter for each 100 life points he loses. Okay, that's useless, you still lose. Next, Primo goes up, and it does seem the Emperors have a plan, but Primo, being more dickish, attempts to win the duel, beating all 3 signers himself. But Jacob manages to get him to stick to the plan, which ends up with him losing too. Yeah, Jack beat 2 of them easily, but clearly something is up, and it must have something to do with that Infinite Aura card. But it's too late.
Game time is over.
Well, that was the coolest thing I've ever seen. It's too late as the true plan is revealed. Using another stupid Speed World effect, Takeover, it lets you destroy a card on the field, and you gain 100 life points times the number of counters on that card. And Jacob destroys Infinite Aura, which had 80 counters on it. Simple math, and Jacob has 3 times the life points now. which is impressive, but why go through all the trouble? Well, because we haven't seen Jacob's Mech Lord Emperor Granul, which has the effect of having the same attack points as your life points. Oh yeah, that's a big boy. Big enough to take out Jack and Crow like the jobber he is. Can't do anything with his birds. They're all only able to help set up Yusei with some face downs, while Jacob was not touched the entire time, still with 12,000 life points, and is Ace Monster, which Yusei has to face alone since due to this being real, Jack and Crow are injured and in the infirmary. And despite all this, Yusei refuses to give up. Seeing his determination, Jacob decides to use his weird powers to show Yusei the bleak future he's fighting for. Not just him, but all of Team 5Ds are shown visions of the future. The future that happens if they keep synchro summoning.
What's going on?
Oh my god, that's a future I don't want to live in. Actually, they're shown a post-apocalyptic city with tablets like the ones Iliaster used scattered throughout. Then they recognize the big thing in the middle of the Daedalus Bridge, realizing this is New Domino. Iliaster explained how this happened. At first the world was great, everyone is dueling on motorcycles like God intended, and comboing off into their Trishulus. It was fast. Too fast. And the format got faster. And faster. And faster. To the point where OTKs were the norm. Dueling was evolving at a very fast rate thanks to synchro summoning. And this made the energy reactor spin faster and faster as well. And that's when the Mech Lords attacked. And we see images of Lester and Primo trying to run from and fight the Mech Lords. And Jacob wandering the world after all the fighting, seeing humanity has died. This is the future they come from. And it's the future they're fighting to stop. What the hell? You should be saying that too, because the dub leaves out something very important, or I don't even know if this is in the sub, if the anime just leaves it out. Where the hell the Mech Lords come from and why they're here? I feel like that's pretty important. So I actually had to look it up, and according to a fan wiki, they were created by the NRD as a response to the greed and selfishness of humans who had abused of the NRD's power to control evolution. Sure. I just think it's funny that the antagonist of this show hates synchro summoning because they think it made duel monsters too fast, which is what a lot of old Yu-Gi-Oh heads think, which led to creating GOAT format, which uses cards before the synchro era. So wait, who made Edison? The Baryons? Yusei is not deterred though, and Excel Synchros, determined to prove they can change the future. Seeing this, Jacob is done fucking around, and him, Lester, and Primo all jump up toward an infinity symbol in the sky and do the fusion dance, forming a being known as Aporia.
Who are you?
I am Aporia.
Gotta admit, did not expect that to happen. He also looks even cooler fusing with his dual runner. I want to be clear, that's sarcasm. He has an even bigger monster too. Neat. Wondering how they fused, Aporia answers that Lester, Primo, and Jacob didn't create him, he created them, as they are all a part of him, because they're actually representations of Aporia at different points in his life. Lester was him as a kid, Primo was him as an adult, and Jacob was him in his final days. Continues saying that at that time, when he was Jacob, he met 3 other survivors. Being the last 4 of humanity, they all came up with a mission to prevent this future from happening. But it was useless as 2 of them died, followed by Aporia, who asked the last of his friends to split his being into the 3 points of his life that contained the most to spare, creating Lester, Primo, and Jacob, and to use them as his servants, as this last survivor, Aporia believes, can save them all. Been a while since I've said this, but this is starting to sound like a Kingdom Hearts plot. What about the duel? Well, it's gone off the track, literally, as now Yusei and Aporia are dueling right in the streets of New Domino, and Aporia is about to end Yusei, as we begin the final episode of the dub, episode 136, where Yusei, thanks to the bonds of his Nakama, takes 5 minutes on 1 turn, not kidding, and manages to summon all the Signer Dragons that matter, beating Aporia, saving the world. Yep, that's it. It's all over. See, it's all happy and sunny. The world is saved, no loose threads to tie up, as Team Ragnarok even congratulates 5Ds for definitely saving the world definitively. Nothing left going on.
Smile, everyone! This moment's gonna go down in history!
And now history and the future are safe forever.
Yep, that's it. 5D's over. We're done. Next week, we start Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexel. I'm kidding you, knobs. This is a joke. I've been alluding to the fact this isn't the end. Are you even paying attention? Because yes, that was the ending to the dub. Admittedly, it was a nicer one than what GX had, but nope, we're not done yet. Because similar to GX, there is an entire other season that was not dubbed, the true final season of 5Ds. As of course, there are still many unanswered questions, like what happened to Sherry, Bruno's true identity, how did Iliaster even get all these time powers anyway, and the biggest of them all, what happened to the last survivor of the future? Well, all those questions and more, oh boy is there more, will be answered next time in the true series finale of Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, the Arc Cradle arc. See you then.
Going fast makes me feel alive. My heart beats in hyperdrive.